Anybody asks, you know what to tell them.
Yeah, well, they can hear us now, so you can tell them.
It's me. It's me, Travis. This is my new persona. I wear a big old cowboy hat and I say things like, well, ain't that a little skittle on the skip it?
Even I have never heard of that, and I live in Texas.
I made it up.
I
But it
believe you.
sounds real.
It sounds like
right?
it could be more real than some of the stuff I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. See? So I'm fitting right in, homies. Yeah. I don't trust them liberal, non-Gentile types from San Francisco. You know what I'm talking about? I don't trust them. No,
Well.
sirree.
Anywho.
Anywho, indeed. I'm trying to figure out how to connect my account. I would love to know how to connect my account. Dun 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 dun. All right, let me ask you some questions, Ebontis.
I'm a little concerned.
Here's my first question. If you could make $1 million per year as a content creator, but you had to go full mask off grifter, I'm talking console warrior, I'm talking calling people cuckolds on your live stream,
Oh my
I'm
God.
talking the most toxic person ever, but you would get a guaranteed income of $1 billion a year. Would you go full grifter?
I don't think I could do it.
Oh, I knew you didn't want to succeed in life. You know what?
There's a difference because like there's a balance.
Is there a difference?
No, there's a balance to what you're saying because what you're basically describing is like Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I know. And after watching all of that go down, it's just like, no, I'd rather not be the villain of everybody. It's like it doesn't, but just be rich, and it's just like there's a balance in there somewhere. I don't know.
mean, sure, but let me tell you, I'd do it. Gotta get paid, homie.
It'd be nice if there was a middle ground as opposed to like broke or just a complete jerk.
Well, I mean, there is a middle ground. That's the life we live. But I'm saying if somebody came up to me and was like, Travis, you could own a home in San Francisco tomorrow. All you got to do is go full mask off grifter. Hell yeah, I'm doing
more than 1 million to do that, but yep.
But I mean, you could get a down payment, and you know, I wouldn't even have to do it for that many years. But, dude, yeah, I'd do it.
I mean, definitely would free up the choice of content coverage. Just do whatever you want.
And here's the really messed up thing. Maybe this is going to go too far. Maybe this will get me canceled. Here's the really messed up
I'm glad we're live for this, by the way. So I'm glad everybody's
here's the really messed up.
Everybody's going to get to judge, including me. Go.
I think I would be good at it.
Oh no, see, that wouldn't surprise me.
I think I'd be good at it.
I was like, you improv, all the other stuff that you do, you would just be like a dungeon master in your own like stream online persona, and then you would just like make random stuff up. No, I was like, I can see you doing it far before me.
I kind of want to do it as a satire. Like, I think it would be a good satirical channel, you know? And only the people who know me would know that I'm, you know, playing it up.
Yeah.
But, dude, I'd be so good at calling people cucks. That should be my day job.
Seem rather practiced at it.
Oh, God.
How do we sound audio check-wise for both of us? Everybody sounding good? Does help when you actually talk a little bit, too, so they could probably let me know. But
yeah, I'll talk as well. I mean, I just got done talking about...
Yeah, you don't need to repeat it. It's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Hey, YouTube is not going to kick you off for saying the word cuckold. That's like an archaic word for Come on.
Yeah.
That's not gonna. You're not gonna get hit with that old English ding.
Old English. You have received an Old English. Copyright striketh.
Yeah. That's like I think you can. I would be willing to bet the entire Old English curse library, even if you're calling somebody a pedo, which I know that word, the full word, is.
Yeah, that's
will
probably
get
not going to go over well
in YouTube. But I bet you could say the Old English equivalent of it, and YouTube wouldn't. They'd be like, "Bro, no shame in that game. That's fair."
Shakespeare, it's like what's the line in the Matrix
that's fair
where
magic right there.
Cursing in French when that's the Merovingian when he's like maybe is it, yeah, I think it is him when he's like cursing in French is like wiping your ass with silk or something like that. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Very good.
Well, should we get the show on the road?
Let's do it, baby girl.
All right. 5. And we are live here around the Last Word Campfire with my co-host Tie Guy Travis. The esteemed and elusive LordCognito is nowhere to be seen today, but he will be back to the campfire as soon as he can be. He just seems to have stepped away for other things today, out there in the real world, fighting the good fights. But Travis, how you doing, man?
A little stuffed up over there, buddy. Are you okay?
I've been fighting a cold for a couple of weeks, so I might...
Weeks?
Yeah. I mean, I've had allergies all my life, but normally it's like, hey, if something comes in, it usually like works itself out. But this one's hanging on, so I might have to go.
Wow.
Have to go take something.
Our boy Cog is dead, everybody.
That's a bit extreme.
Yeah. He hasn't been here for so long. How many weeks has he been MIA? Do we know he's still alive?
Yeah.
For a fact?
I confirmed, talked to him, yeah.
Okay. All right. I've only seen him on DMs, which means could be somebody else sitting at the keyboard. You never know.
I mean, could
never know these days. Oh, so you haven't actually talked to him on camera?
Not camera, but voice I have.
Oh, bruh.
I got a voicemail. It's hey,
I can do that.
No, you're not going to be able to copy Cog's voice.
I don't know, bro. Who's with me? Sound off in the chat. Is Cognito still alive?
It's Teddy. Teddy's the one at the keyboard.
Honestly, he could do it. I would trust him.
Teddy hacks in. He's like, I got this.
Yeah. I'm jacking into the system.
Well, Absolutely. What have you been up to, sir?
Oh, yeah. I forgot you asked me a question, and then I deflected with stupid... what am I doing? I did a preview of... I went to Canada recently, and I saw a video game called South of Midnight.
Indeed.
That was pretty cool. I wish I could talk about. And then I am getting ready to review Path of Exile 2 coming up pretty soon here. So I got some stuff, bro. Got some stuff I'm working on.
Nice.
But other than that, like it's been kind of slow. Like IGN isn't doing a lot of contract work at the end of the year here.
Yeah.
A little bit of a slower period. And so I'm just sort of taking the time to catch up games. I got to vote in the Game Awards this year.
That's cool.
Didn't go my way.
How did just specifically you or as part of IGN, or how did that go?
Yeah, I got invited to participate, which is kind of cool.
Damn.
So
this is just like your kind of presence of reviews and stuff that you do, kind of getting you a seat at the table, or
I don't know, bruh. All I know is they hit me up this year when I got to submit a little form. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Do you feel like weighing in on the Game of the Year controversy, or do you even care?
Oh, I would love to weigh in. I'm so upset because nothing I nominated got on the list except for Metaphor Refantasio.
You didn't nominate Balatro? Okay, I was like,
Balatro,
you had to do Balatro. So thoughts on first expansion category? Should there be one or not?
Yeah, I mean, that is sort of the problem, right? Is I think there's two reasons that got nominated. One is there is no best DLC/expansion category, and there absolutely should be one.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that I learned through this process of voting that Keeley has extremely loose qualifications for what can be nominated. He does not provide any guidance. He just says sort of like, I trust you. You tell me what should be nominated, right? Which means that people have different opinions on stuff. I appreciate the idea that he's like very laissez-faire and trusts that people will nominate stuff, but I feel like he could provide some guidance, and that would be really useful. Like, for example, in the forum, there's one where it's like, vote on what you think the best action game was.
And
you're
then
like, all
action
right,
adventure game, right?
and the action adventure was the next one.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, well, I think I know what an action adventure is, but I don't think everyone agrees with my definition. Same with RPG. RPG can mean a million different things to different people. And so I have a lot of questions when you tell me that a game is an RPG. I'm like, well, what type? You know, is it like kind of an RPG because you have loot? Is an RPG because you have a level up skill screen? Like, I have a lot of questions when people say it's an RPG. So I think it's more of a product of the format just being extremely loose in terms of what getting nominated. I was told straight up that if I wanted, I could put GTA 6 as the winner for all categories and it would be accepted. A game that isn't out yet. I could just say, yeah, it's my game for everything. GTA 6, best sports/racing game, GTA 6. Like, I could just do that.
I mean,
and
it probably will win that category when it comes out, but it's not out yet, so that's fair.
Yeah, but if I convinced everyone to do that down ballot for just the lols, that would be the winner, and then Keeley would have a problem on his hands.
See that? So, yeah, you need a little bit. Like, I do appreciate him. Not
he wants to show he doesn't have his thumb on the scale, right? I appreciate that. Yeah,
but also it's like there need to be some reasonably agreed to guidelines as to what is what. Well,
I will say this though, one of the only things he clarified during the process was a clarification. Hey, just by the way, in case you're wondering,
is winning something.
Expansions can be nominated for Game of the Year. Like, just clarified that a whole lot, and I was like, okay, we get it, buddy.
Yeah, it's like cough, hit.
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty. So yeah, no rules, but also like advice and counsel given. I don't know, man. Look, I'm happy to be a part of it. I think it's pretty cool. I hope it'll be a fun thing that I get to participate in the future, but I have feedback. I'm a critic. I doubt that there's anybody he invited to that document that is not a critic who had feedback. So I nominated for Game of the Year.
Like, yeah, what were yours?
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Okay.
Which I think should win.
Oh, you think it should win the whole thing?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Have you played a better game this year?
I haven't played it, so I can't judge on that one.
Oh, okay. I would say it's the best game this year. I mean, of the games that got nominated,
what are your runners
Rebirth,
up?
I would not have nominated. I didn't nominate Rebirth. I think my runners up were Balatro. Oh, I nominated Asgard's Wrath too. So part of the reason I found out you can put GTA 6 as every category is because I asked clarifying questions. I was like, hey, by the way, can I nominate Asgard's Wrath 2 because it came out last year, but it came out after the Game Award
after the window, right?
In December. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, you could do that. And I said, okay, cool. And no one else nominated that game. It didn't even get nominated for best VR game because it came out in December. Yeah,
just because
it came out in December. Yeah, and Keeley doesn't like remind everyone like, hey, by the way, the cutoff date last year was here, so here's all the games that should qualify from last year. Like, none of that counsel or guidance is given, and so my favorite game in the past year is not represented anywhere. So, because actually that should be the actual game of the year. If you're talking game of the year, that's the game that pushed the industry forward the most in the past year, and it's not nominated because it came out in December. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer, right?
Yeah, that whole timing thing is kind of like you know, people release movies closer towards the certain Oscar window for the same principle. It's kind of recency bias, but it is kind of a shame it hits that hard, especially when I remember that thing reviewed well everywhere. Like, I mean, and it's not even nominated for game, not even nominated for VR game. I don't even know how that doesn't equate.
It's because everybody forgot. That's why.
Yeah.
There's no reminder system. There's no like, and this is like something I like about IGN. When we do our internal game of the year, we talk a lot about like what counts and what the categories mean, and there's like a lot more collaboration. I feel like the Game Awards could really benefit from that, like just a couple meetings to go through like, hey, here's what this category means, here are the games that qualify, here are the things to keep in mind, etc. And
well, I've heard like BAFTA is kind of an interesting one because that's like you have to have played it, and then they like kind of talk about it, and then there's like discussion. I've heard that one's actually pretty interesting. So if you get a BAFTA, I feel like that's a pretty legit one.
I think they should all be like that.
I mean, yeah, I feel like for one, you probably shouldn't have played it if you're voting on it or anything, and then two,
Yeah.
there should be some kind of discussion. You know, if you were like, oh yeah, Asgard's Wrath, totally in here. Just the reminder to the people who were involved probably would have done a lot just to get that thing, even if it didn't win, just to be nominated for sure. There's no
Yeah.
question.
But instead, the Batman game will get nominated because it came out last month.
Yeah. I
Even
heard
though
that was
it's,
good
like,
too.
worse. It's good. I beat it. It's a
Yeah.
good game. The other thing that's tough about game awards is, like, usually I make it a goal to beat every single game that gets nominated in the Game of the Year awards for any category. And I'm still on track to do that this year, but not by the time I have to nominate. You know what I mean? Like, there were some games that came out like that week. And then, I'm like 109 hours into Metaphor, and it's like, well, I'm not done with it, so technically I shouldn't be able to nominate it for anything, but
how is that
I
coming
did.
together for you?
It's really good. It's a good game. I mean, my problems with it are that it really doesn't do anything new. It just follows the formula of JRPGs like to a T, and as you know, that is sort of disqualifying for me when it comes to Game of the Year. But I think the other story that nobody's really talking about with Elden Ring being nominated is, I think part of the thing that we should be thinking about with that getting nominated is not that it got nominated, but that maybe this year wasn't very strong for games if it was able to be nominated. Like, even if expansions qualify.
Oh.
I'm saying even if you take expansions qualify, maybe the fact that it got nominated for Game of the Year reflects more on the year we had as a games industry than it does on the people that were in the nominating process.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
That's fair. I mean, there are some years are like last year had a lot of bangers that were, kind of all landed together. So it's kind of a bit more difficult to figure out what was what. This year it was, I feel like this year wasn't a shortage of games, but it's just not like a shortage of the big tent poles that a lot of people think about. But if you're like, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, one of the best Metroidvanias I've probably ever played, and like top 5 of all time in that
Probably not
category,
a
in
lot
my
of people
opinion.
played it as well.
Yeah, I was like, it
Yeah.
didn't sell. The team got
I
shut
nominated
down.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was like, I saw that one actually got nominated, I think for action, if I remember correct, something like that. So I was happy to see it get nominated, but unfortunately,
I
it's like,
nominated it for action and not action adventure. Sue
yeah,
me.
I mean, yeah, you could. It's 2D, but I mean, who knows? So
I don't know. I really don't know what action adventure means
yeah.
holistic.
I was trying to go through and look at some of the stuff that I played and to see like what belonged. It's like, I played Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, but I wouldn't probably nominate that for like
Definitely
action
not.
adventure.
Good game though.
Yeah, it was fun. But I was like, I didn't play Rebirth because I never got around to it. I'm trying to look through some of the list here. I know that what was this year specifically, not just like it came out this year on another platform. Dragon's Dogma 2, I saw that got a nomination. And that was like technically bumpy, but kind of cool in its own right. Just like
I think I nominated that for RPG. I think that got on my list.
Yeah, it's like Stellar Blade came out. No Rest for the Wicked. Like that one's I think gonna be fantastic when it ever is like a full release. It's got so much potential. Stellar Blade I saw actually got a nomination, which was cool. I've heard people really raved about that one quite a bit. Yeah, then there's like there's no early access category like Hades 2 or what else is early access? I don't know if Our World was early access or not, or if that was a full.
It is early access. I would not. I don't think you should nominate early access games myself.
Yeah, that's a whole different problem. Is there's so many that are coming out in that category that makes early access a weird thing.
I mean, you can have a best early access game genre, and then just clarify that early access games shouldn't get nominated for Game of the Year, which would be my preference. But I'm not in charge of the Game Awards.
I mean, the size and scale. Yeah. The size and scale of Shadow of the Erdtree is a substantial like DLC. It's not just like, hey, here's the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown DLC. It's like 4 hours. Like that was that was quick.
That is
like,
true, but also that game is just more Elden Ring, right? And if you're talking about Game of the Year, like the game that defines the year, is the game really defined by just more of a game from 2022?
Well, that's kind of the thing too. Is like it shouldn't matter that it was already. It's weird to set the precedent now when you had stuff like Phantom Liberty come out previously, and that one kind of got skipped over. But that was some people's favorite expansion. Was probably not quite as big, but similar in scale.
Did it get nominated for Game of the Year? I thought it got nominated.
I don't remember on that one. I
know
feel
it got nominated for Best Ongoing Game. You're right.
Yeah.
which also doesn't.
Which also
really
is
make
like, that's
sense.
not an ongoing game. That's a DLC. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a live service
Well,
game.
they've kind of turned it into an ongoing game by the virtue of the fact that they've had to fix so much shit. But yeah,
But I was like, patches are not ongoing. Like, Once Human or First Ascendant with Seasons or any ongoing like seasonal live service, Destiny, Apex, like that is what I picture. Even at this point, like No Man's Sky is flirting the line between both of those because it just keeps releasing updates, but that's a weird one that's been lasting forever. Yeah, I mean there hasn't been quite as many just elite games, so it is a weird year for stuff. But I am glad Black Myth Wukong made it on the list. I would have nominated that one personally. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with that one.
Yeah, that got nominated, right, for Game of the Year.
That did.
I haven't played it yet, but I have no problem with people saying it's one of the better games this year.
Yeah, Astrobot, that one makes total sense. I haven't played it yet, but it's on my list to like play on my PS5 Pro. So
just based on what people are telling me, although people also told me that about the last two Astrobot games, and I did not agree with those assessments. So we'll see if
I enjoyed the free one that came with the PS5. It was short, but I enjoyed my time. It wasn't challenging per se.
Same thing with the VR game. Like they're both kind of just like tech demos, right? Like they're interesting games, but they're saying that this one is more of like a full fleshed out game, which sounds great to me.
Yeah. I think my buddy said some of the early levels are easier, but then when you get into the challenges, they're like for real. So I'm kind of curious to see how that lands. What else? I mean, you had Plucky Squire, Frostpunk 2. What else?
Plucky Squire. Frostpunk 2. Well, I heard that game was I previewed that game and I really, really liked it, but then I never played the game when it came out. Didn't you play that game?
I played it. Yeah, I played it. I gave it
an 8, I think it was.
I gave it an 8. It was I had heard about, like, kind of dug into like YouTube coverage of what the first one did, and always heard that it was like tough decisions, stuff like that. And just as you're going, yeah, it was like, do you want to sacrifice the old people or the children? It's like, whoa. So I mean, but I thought they
answer the question.
I thought they kept the spirit of it, but moved like the world of Frostpunk bigger without losing the spirit of Frostpunk, which I feel like they easily could have lost what made Frostpunk, but they didn't. And I thought that was actually extremely well done for the sequel. I thought they did a great job doing that. Something like Animal Well, that's one that I know I probably want to play. Neva, I probably just would cry too much. Silent Hill 2.
You have a soft spot for animals.
Yeah. My best friend lives on the other side of the town that I'm in. They just had to put their cat down like yesterday. So we were over at their house for I was over at their house for the fight, and that cat hadn't been eating that much, or hadn't been eating at all, and then they told us like yesterday that they had to put it down the day before, so they've been dealing with that. And then literally today, so that was yesterday, we figured that out, and we went to go see The Wild Robot. By the way, an extremely good movie.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, very, very good movie. If you get a chance to see it in theaters while it's still there.
Looks a little bit Avatar to me. A little Pocahontas, a little Ferngully, a little Dances with Wolves, a little The Last Samurai. You know what I mean? A little bit of the sorry for apartheid, sorry for colonialism.
It's actually not that really.
Genre of movie.
It's not so much
Is
that.
It not? Not the sorry for colonialism? You sure?
No, it's not.
It's a very popular genre.
It's not what that is. It is not.
All right, okay.
No,
take your word for it.
It honestly, I mean, yeah, I cried a couple times in it, but it was.
You cried a couple times. You're an emotional dude.
I got emotions, man. I'm not afraid to say that I've got emotions, so I don't.
Good for you. You would have loved my wedding.
I would have. I know. I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, it was everybody being emotional except for me.
I mean, that's fair. It sounds spot on for you as well. So
it was very spot on. We talked about it. A lot of my vows were about like how I'll never understand her, but that's okay because I'm a robot. It's good,
but it is a great movie. Like it lived up to the hype. I was pleased. And then, so that was yesterday.
What about Gladiator 2? Did that make you cry? Have you seen that yet?
I haven't seen it yet. It's not out yet. I think it came out this weekend.
Maybe you have special access. You're a content creator, bro. You got that access.
So I would like to see that one. I think it comes out today if you're doing like Thursday night previews, but we'll see.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah, I will try and see it this weekend if I can, because I really want to see that. My wife's gonna go see Wicked with her friends, but I'll still probably see that again with her because I want to see Wicked. Trying to think. Then we got Moana 2. There was one other movie that I kind of wanted to see to wrap up the year, but I forget what it was.
Moana 2.
I enjoyed the first one. It was fun, but Wild Heart's just like, or not Wild Heart, Wild Robot. I was thinking of the game. Wild Robot's just like, it's kind of one of those. It's a nice one to watch. And no, it's not the Pocahontas colonialism, whatever you're thinking of. It's not that. It's not that at all.
Sorry for colonialism. It's a very popular genre.
I mean, that's fair, but that's not what that is.
All right, fine.
Trying to see what else came out that I hadn't really thought of yet. Yeah, I mean, stuff like Flight Simulator 2024 should have been a no-brainer, and I feel like it's just like stepping on a rake with the servers and stuff, so that one's having some struggles. Mario and Luigi Brothership probably should have been a little better. Soccer 2 needs some work, but has potential there. Just, that's kind of how the year feels. There's a lot of things that are in process and in the works. Indiana Jones is going to come in after the window and then get forgotten about for Game Awards, so we'll see how that one lands.
Yeah. It's funny. I think some companies use the fact that December games get taken out of award season to explicitly keep their games out of consideration. Like, I fully believe that that's what 343 Industries did with Halo Infinite. Not because the game was bad, but because if it didn't win Game of the Year, people would say that it was bad. And so they just released it in December. Because that's like a lose-lose situation when you're when you're that anticipated. It's like either you win Game of the Year or you don't, and then just even you not winning Game of the Year is enough for people to like deride you. And so I honestly think some studios just release the game in that like late November, early December window specifically to not be considered.
The one that bugs me is now February is just like, and February, the only thing that makes sense to me is some fiscal year that all these games, they want to stack it in February, have about a month for people to buy the game and have it hit like financials for Q1, whatever their quarters or fiscal years are, because it's just so weird to me.
I think it has to do more with like play. I mean, there's probably some of the little fiscal timing. Although I don't know, most of the companies I've been a part of, their Q1 ends at the end of January, not at the end of February, so that doesn't really check out too much. But some end in like May or March or April. Like there's a bunch of times, but my guess would be it has more to do with like the successful windows. Like we found that summer is a good time for smaller games, but the big games get destroyed because everybody's outside.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's like a period you don't want to release a game unless you are releasing it primarily in Asia, which we saw from your monkey game.
Black Myth Wukong?
Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, that was summer because it's the winter season and the parts of the world where they were mostly selling the game. So I think there's strategy around like when you put out a game based on what your market is doing at that point in time.
It's just like February is like oddly stacked, so I feel like not everybody's gonna buy every game because if you do Like a Dragon, Yakuza in Hawaii, Monster Hunter Wilds, Avowed,
Monster Hunter's. I thought Monster Hunter's coming out end of year next year.
Monster Hunter's February 28th.
Shut up.
Dead serious.
We're
like less than 100 days away from Monster Hunter Wilds.
No way.
But like 20 hours into the preview. Unless they delay it, yeah.
Oh my god.
So, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, February 11th. Civilization 7, February 11th. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't know if that'll come out, but we'll see. February 14th. And then Avowed, February 18th. Like a Dragon, Hawaii, February 21st, which got moved up because it was on the same day as Wilds, which is the 28th. It makes no sense to me to put all of those in the same. Somebody should move. Even if you go to like if you go look at March right now, you have like Football Manager, Suikoden Remaster, Xenoblade Chronicles X, a remaster, Atomfall, which I've only been hearing mixed things about. Like there's zero major games that I can see there in March. Like if you could bump Avowed maybe to the March
I mean, something will get bumped.
Something
will
should, but sadly it won't. And then they wonder, it's like, all these games don't sell because you release all these giant games and nobody's like playing. Everybody plays chicken and then nobody moves, and then 3 different games fail because they all try to compete against each other.
Yeah.
Very weird to me.
It is an odd balancing act. Yeah. I think there's probably a reason they're not releasing the games at that time period. I think people are just more indoors. End of winter, beginning of spring, lots of rain going on. I don't think people are going outside.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but I know not all of those can succeed together. At least it doesn't feel like it. I mean, I know Civilization and Like a Dragon probably not competing with the same audience, but
yeah, I think a lot of these aren't competing with the same audience. I don't think Monster Hunter is competing. I think maybe Avowed and Monster Hunter are competing because they're both kind of the same types of long RPGs. But even then, they're so like one is a Western RPG and the other one is like a barely an RPG, and
well,
also
then you got Assassin's
Japanese.
Creed and Like a Dragon in there too, and they've got their progression. I don't know, RPG or adventure or whatever you're going to classify them as.
Like a Dragon is an RPG most of the time, but it just depends what style they're going with. I think this might be one of the fighting ones. So
it's just it's kind of one of those where I just see a lot of games that, for one, I want to play, but a lot of games that I would like to see succeed. Like Avowed, I would like to see succeed, but I feel like
it'll succeed. It's going to be on Game Pass.
I mean, it will, and they should be fine, but yeah.
Also, it's a Obsidian Western RPG. I think their audience is pretty specific. It's smaller, but it's specific. Yeah. They'll all want to play that game.
Previews are looking good on that one today, too, actually. I saw those.
Yeah. Yeah, I know some people who played it, and they're pretty stoked about it. One of them is Destin.
GTA 6, where was I listening? I think you were talking about McCaffrey, and you were like, yeah, that's 2026. That's getting delayed.
I don't believe it's coming out this year.
Oh. That's like why the rest of 2020...
Would they rush GTA 6 out to make room for Borderlands 4 in 2026? And I was like, no, they won't.
Borderlands 4 has like 1% of the worry compared to GTA 6. Like, Borderlands is cute.
GTA 6 is the future of their business. It will come out whenever they say it comes out.
Yeah. When it's ready, when they feel... Yeah, they can't do like, oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator. This should be a gimme for the Flight Simulator community, and they botch it. It's like, GTA 6, this is our thing for the next 10 years. Oh, we botched the launch.
Flight Simulator not good? The new
I've heard there are like server issues and stuff like that. I saw a couple videos like, yeah, it's... I think it was even McCaffrey was like, here they go, stepping on a rake or something again, and it was about that, if I remember right.
Oh, that's annoying. I love Flight Simulator. I didn't buy it yet.
He said it too, and I was like, oh man.
Oh,
here it is. It was yesterday. It said, reset the board, everyone. It has been 0 days since Microsoft last stepped on a rake. The last flight sim got a 10, and by all counts, has tons of players. They completely underestimated the demand for flight sim, even after tests, and it's just like the collapse after overwhelming server issues and everything else. It's just, yeah.
But the game isn't bad. It just has server issues, because that's you can fix that.
Yeah, they just Steam
reviews. If it like got a bad, if it got a bad review from like reviewers who were playing it early, I would be concerned.
Yeah, I think it's just Steam reviews are like overwhelmingly negative right now because it's.
There you go. That'll self correct if they fix it.
Yep. So, well,
servers are hard, man.
Oh man.
And yeah, even if you have cloud servers accounting for like demand. It's not easy work, man. That's why they have so many engineers.
No. I mean, it was, what was I seeing that they were tested? Oh, I can't remember what it was. Something for next year, but I mean, Monster Hunter Wilds, I think they had a little bit of a early bump in the road with even just the open beta. They didn't expect 450,000 Steam people on there, much less what console was.
Idiots. You should have expected 450 million.
I was like... Monster Hunter
Wilds, not really expecting it. It's like getting this. If you know how buying server space works,
yeah.
If you've ever worked around AWS or Snowflake, like it's not just like, oh, it'll work no matter what. Like it's complicated. You have to measure, you have to estimate, you have to budget because it costs money. It's complicated stuff, man.
Indeed. Well, you played any of this thing called Destiny lately?
I have actually. I played a whole bunch of Destiny. like maybe 2 weeks ago. I had like one day where I had like a 6 hour block and nothing really going on. And I was like, I could catch up on games or I could play Destiny, a game I haven't played in like 2 months. And I was like, let's do it. So I hopped in. The first thing I did was finish Act 3 of last episode,
Okay.
which was so stupid. Very, very dumb. I finished it in like an hour and I did the exotic mission. The exotic mission is okay. It's not great. The final boss fight is super irritating. It's like they tried to make it annoying on purpose. And then I did the secret puzzles in that exotic mission as well, and those were also pretty boring. Like just not really.
Yeah, they weren't
interesting
much of a mind
mechanics.
stretch. I figured them all out just
I was like, all
without
right,
looking
you kind
anything
of
up.
just shoot things. Cool. And then I moved on to Act 1 of this new season. I enjoyed that so far a little bit more. I still think the story is kind of dumb. Can I just say, I'm really sick of Destiny storylines that conclude with a character saying, well, I guess I'm imperfect, but I accept myself for who I am. I really hate that has become the
That's
end
like
of
everybody.
That's every freaking seasonal story is, well, guess I'm a flawed person, but I just have to love me for me. And I'm like, bro, that is the same plot line and arc. And like, are we watching Captain Planet episodes? Like, what is this? What is up with this weird after school special moral like lesson of self-acceptance every season? It's so annoying to me.
I feel like what was that episode called? Echoes, right? Yeah, I feel like the first Echoes was like Satan gets kind of like taken over and then he kind of shakes it off. And then the same thing in the end of Act 3. We're just like all trying to fight against her. And then we just like shake it off, throwing like a Nova bomb and a super at her. And then she just like falls down into the radial area and still doesn't die and fades away and takes the Echo with her. I was like, so we did nothing for 18 weeks. We got nothing accomplished. We did not get the Echo back.
I feel like they're trying to introduce maybe a axis of evil or what's
Sinister Six or something.
Sinister Six, and I think maybe they'll team up and it'll become kind of a problem for us or something. I don't know. But
how's Aramis treating you this episode?
I just don't get it. I don't get what the problem is this season. What's the problem?
There are Scorn. The girl is back, and he's powerful.
Okay.
And he
wants to turn all Fallen into Scorn, right? That's like
something like that. Yeah, he wants to turn all Fallen into Scorn and kind of take that.
I will. Okay, so obviously they're going for like, just based on the opening cinematic, they're going for like an allegory for like racism and xenophobia, right? If this season ends with a Fallen saying, I guess I just have to accept myself for my flaws and love me for who I am, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it if we're sitting here looking at that. But I think we're staring down the barrel of some, a pretty preachy story. Another after school special.
So you haven't played Act 2 yet, correct?
No, because that came out on Tuesday, right?
Correct. But did you play Act 1? Like you played
I played all of Act 1.
Okay,
I played all of it. It took me like an hour. But I actually did end up playing Destiny like for a full day at one point because I was like, man, there's a lot of stuff to do.
Well, if you hadn't done Act 3 and Act 1, that's a decent bit.
Yeah. And I did a bunch of stuff that was like in between that. Like I did the hard mode of the exotic quest. And I got the exotic from that thing. That activity, which had a whole bunch of steps attached to it.
Yep.
I had to do that exotic mission like 5 times in a row. I wanted to kill myself.
That was Act 3, was that exotic mission over and over.
Terrible,
and over
dude.
And over.
I hated it. I was so sick of it. The first time I played it, I was like, that was okay. And then by the 5th time I played it, I was like, I hate this activity. Especially doing it on hard mode. Like the hard mode, the boss fight is just not fun. Like everything melts you immediately. It's just like, bro. I have not played the new dungeon yet. Oh wait. No, I did.
I thought you said you.
Yeah, I have Icebreaker. Is that the new dungeon?
Yeah, that's the new dungeon. I don't even have Icebreaker.
Scott B saying the new dungeon is good. Scott B, you have low standards, sir. It is not a good dungeon. It is a derivative dungeon. It is a copy and paste of a raid they did before. I would not describe it as a good dungeon. It's very bland.
They took the raid mechanics and then also the exotic mission mechanics and tweaked them a little bit. Well, they gave a slight different variation to like the suppressor and the operator and stuff like that, but it was still, this is how this mechanic works. This is how this mechanic works. This is how this one works. Now put them all together.
And here's a boss you already fought. What's the final boss? That is a pretty bad dungeon. And I would describe it as a cardboard cutout of a Destiny activity.
Well, I mean, the more I keep looking through, where was I? I was looking at something. I was like, oh yeah, this is, so we got Prison of Elders, which is, you know, brought up from Destiny 1 and partially from Forsaken and all that stuff. And one of the challenge mechanics in there is the Rifleman. So they just took a Baron and put him as a challenge in some of the boss rooms. Like, Prison is fine. It's not, I wouldn't say it's amazing. I wouldn't say it's bad either.
Right. They brought back the Prison of Elders arena wave-based fighting.
Yeah, that's for Act 2. So yeah, it's Tomb of Elders is like
Tomb
of Elders is what they call like the 1-round version, and then Contest of Elders is the one where you get like loops where you go through it like 3 or 4 times. If you beat the challenge in a room, you get Warden's Favor. And if you get Warden's Favor higher and higher, when you go through each like loop, which starts at the cryopod room, which you can skip after the first run, then you'll have like an enemy faction themed room, you'll have a quick traversal section, and then a boss room. Not that long to go through, and you'll go through it about 3 or 4 times, kind of depending. Because I finished one loop in like 35 minutes, and we ended on Warden's Favor ×3, and then we went to like the treasure room. But we did another one where we were only at Warden's Favor ×2 after about that 30-minute mark, and it sent us back through again. So I don't know if you need to be like 3 runs in and be at Warden's Favor ×3, but basically the way you get Warden's Favor is by doing a challenge in a room, and it'll go +1. Do a challenge in the next room, it'll go +2. Challenge in the traversal section, it'll be +3. Thing is, when you get to +3, the challenges have a shorter time window on them now. So then if you're in the boss room and you're at ×3 and you don't get the challenge, then you finish the boss room and then go get your loot at ×2. So it's actually advantageous to be at ×3, fail the traversal to be down at ×2, so you have longer to do the critical challenge in the boss room to then get the loot at ×3, if you can sequence that. If it's not that hard, like if you actually had a team that talked, it's not that hard, period, because I've done it with random people. So like if you had a team like on comms, it would be easy, I think, to be like, hey, here's the critical challenge, everybody focus on that. The problem is I feel like I'm soloing some of the challenges because people are just like, let me nuke the boss and not pay attention to the challenge. And that's also the problem with the first level, is it like gets progressively higher power level for the enemies. The first level, you'll get the boss out and they'll nuke the boss before the challenge shows up if they don't plan it right. Yeah, so then you can't even get that. So then you go down to ×2 and you're like, thank you.
Wow. So, that's funny.
Like, it's
shout out to Buff, by the way, Buff32. He played a lot of the old content and also has been grinding the dungeon with me.
Nice.
He watched me get Icebreaker before he got it, even though he's done it more than me. So sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, so my 2 problems with the dungeon, or with Prison of Elders, Tomb Contest, whatever you want to call it. 1, they called it a roguelike. It's not at all. 0. It is not a roguelike.
It's the same thing over and over again.
Correct. Yeah, it's the same thing. You just have a random modifier in a room. That is it. That is not a roguelike. And they said that on the stream when we watched it. They're like, yeah, we're working on trying to do that like roguelike thing, you know, a little bit. And I'm like, no. I was like, I do want to tell, like, I don't know if Noah will ever hear this. Love your energy on the streams and everything. It's like, thank you for making the content, but this is not a roguelike at all. Like, Deep Dive was closer. The buffs you got from the coil, the Riven one, that was closer. This is just like random modifier in a room, modifier gone. That's it. And then from there, the only thing is, like, if you get Warden's Favor higher, +1 is there are more challenging combatants. +2, traps are now turned on, so they can be on and off. And then level 3, which is where it caps out at, that is the timer for the challenges being shorter. Well, that's it. After a while, you're like, okay, I get it. But the modifiers are basically all bad. Chill touch, so if you're touched by an enemy, you get slowed. Grounded. Famine for ammo. if there's one where you have like a bigger health bar, but if you lose health, you can't get it back unless you like do specific things. If you stand still, you're gonna just sit there and take damage. Like none of them really benefit you. So there's no like, hey, I'm getting farther into this thing, I'm getting buffs, so I'm stronger. None of that. So that's why I was like, the roguelike is out. Yeah, Hades is prime example. Perfect.
The godlike roguelike.
Oh yeah, that's still got to be just the best one I've ever played. Because it has the
Yeah.
roguelike mastered, and then one of the best stories you'll play too, and as you loop through, it gets better. Oh, Hades is so good. I haven't played
Rogue
2
Legacy
yet.
is really good.
Rogue Legacy I did
Oh, I
play.
have. Oh, Hades 2 is
Also good?
chef's kiss.
Nice.
Chef's
Okay.
kiss. Soundtrack alone, man.
Oh,
I
their
mean,
soundtracks
I
are
think
that's Supergiant?
that was a game. I think it got nominated for Game Awards this year, even though it's early access. So when
Yeah,
that
I
game
mean,
comes out fully, woo,
yeah, when that gets a
it'll be a big one.
1.0, I'll be happy. And I only played Hades 1 in 1.0. I never played early access. And as I kind of missed the early access like boat for Hades 2, I might hold off until it's 1.0 just to jump in fresh, but yeah, Hades 1's so good.
I do think hanging out for a 1.0 makes it feel a little more special, but I could not help myself. Like as soon as I saw it was out there, I was like, I'm playing. And honestly, the game feels like it's done. I mean, I don't even think I got to a point where it made me, or like I hit a wall and it was like you can't play anymore. Like I'm not really clear on what the game is missing right now. I assume
Oh,
it cuts off the story at some point, but I didn't hit the wall,
huh.
and I played like 20 hours of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the early accesses that I'm waiting to hit 1.0 are No Rest for the Wicked and Hades 2. Both of those, when they go full game.
Did you play No Rest for the Wicked
Well, I
early?
put like 30 hours in it. Yeah, I was loving that
Yeah,
game. And
I
I finally
reviewed
got to
it
the point where I was like,
recently.
all right, I kind of see where we're at. And I know they're going to add, they added like a huge update with the Crucible and stuff. I never actually got to that one. But yeah, I feel like this is like maybe a third of what they're going to build for the full game. That game's got so much potential when it gets done. Oh, so excited for that. But yeah, the other main issue, besides the fact that it is not a roguelike at all, it's just loops with random modifiers and rooms. Now, the nice thing is it goes cryopod, enemy faction, traversal, boss. When you come back for your second loop, cryopod, you can skip if your warden's favor is higher. So then it's just faction, traversal, boss, faction, traversal, boss.
Oh, fancy.
So there's a little benefit there, but all you do is just skip the early room and just go into more. But yeah, it's like whether you're ×2 or ×3, you're getting 2 or 3 chests with some decent loot. You get to the treasure room, you get like 4 chests, and you're getting loot and tonic ingredients. Nobody that I've seen likes tonics, and this season's loot is just really kind of not exciting for a lot of people either. That's one thing a lot of people are saying is like the prison's fine, but overall the loot for the season, the loot for Tomb of Elders is just like okay.
It's whatever.
Yeah. That's just kind of one of
Unfortunate.
those. Yeah, it's just like I think, and then also the whole tonics as opposed to crafting. People are like, well, this is not the way you. This is how you don't take away crafting because you. This is not tonics are not great because they're timed. Then you forget about them, and then half the time they don't work right. Tassie was like, oh, I ran like the purple tier tonic, and I did not get one of the gun I was going for to drop the whole time. I was in onslaught, and that was like an hour. So it's just like I don't know if tonics are not working right and stuff like that. There are free guns in the gunsmith, free god rolls. You should probably go pick up a couple of them if you don't have them.
Oh, interesting.
So one was the dungeon, but you have to have beat the new dungeon. So if you beat the new dungeon, yeah, dungeon, it's the grenade launcher with really good roll. I want to say it's like bait and
So
switch and
I'm
envious
caught
arsenal.
up on all of the activities except for this
Yeah,
Prison of
Tomb of
Elders.
Elders. Yeah, if you did the dungeon and the
There's
exotic
not a
quest, you're
new
good.
raid or
Nope.
exotic mission.
Exotic mission will be Act 3. That'll be coming in January. So you've got time for that. So yeah, it's like there are some good rolls in there. There's a Indebted Kindness with Volt Shot on it. I actually never had one of those with Volt Shot from what was it, Warden's Ruin or whatever it was. There's one of those. It's the Arc rocket pistol. You've got a Hothead with Clown cartridge on it. So if you just need a good Arc rocket launcher for some purpose, that's in there. A couple PvP weapons. You've got Rose and Multi-Mock is also in there as well. I was like, it's nice they're free in the whole perk weight gate. Did you hear about all that and kind of
Yes.
pass through and they figured it
I
out?
drop rates, people being skeptical of the things Bungie says. Sounds like classic Bungie community stuff. Did I miss anything?
No, I mean it was basically that like Bungie had never actually intentionally put perk weighting in there. They confirmed that, they checked. That was what happened, was an accident where somehow like the way the API was set up, like the number of, you know, however the coding is done, however far one perk away was from another in the database, or however it was set up for that they were pulling from, the distance from one perk to another actually changed the weighting of the algorithm somehow. So that was what was affecting everything. So they ended up changing that, and then they gave these guns away for stuff that people could have missed over the years, whatever it may have been. So it was cool they fixed that and confirmed it, but it was just like, it's kind of crazy that it's probably been going on for longer than we think. Crafting helped with some of that. And then now it's like, now that crafting wasn't there, it was just a combination of a lot of things happened all together. And it was just like, huh, wonder how long that's been that way.
Interesting.
Kind of one of those accidents and then in the code or whatever. But
Ghost
it was
in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, or what was the what am I trying to think of? The iRobot line was like, there's always Ghost in the Machine is what I was thinking of. But yeah, it's just, but also on the other side,
Returnal is a great
Returnal is fantastic. I saw that listed there.
Really
did you beat that?
Really good. I did.
Oh, so good. It's a long run to beat the whole thing.
PC.
Oh, see, I wanted to almost go back on PC because
I hated it on PlayStation.
I'm such
the control thing.
I suck on
no,
controller.
it's really, it's not even the, obviously I'm great on controller, but it's the having two functions for the same button. The half press and the hard press on the right and left triggers made me want to kill myself. I really hate that. So I just played it on a different controller.
I eventually beat it on PlayStation. I beat it on PlayStation. That was such a surprise of a game though. Like, to work through it, then finally get through the full run, and when it finally starts coming together, you're just like, that was a hell of a game. I can't wait to see. They're working on something. They're working on something too. I'll be curious.
Be surprised if it's a sequel.
No, I don't think it is.
You don't know anything.
No, but just what I've heard.
Okay.
What I've heard, rumors.
You don't know anything.
No, I don't. I sound like I know nothing at all. But
they're actually making Half-Life 3 at studio.
That's lies. Also lies.
No. Guys, I'm an insider. You could trust me, I'm an insider. Source. Me.
You would have probably, if that was actually real, you just got fired. Because that would be
what if it was real? What if it was real, but I just got lucky, and then I get to walk around acting like I'm just like this Nostradamus for the rest of my career? Yeah, just like, guys, trust me, I know everything. Remember that time I got it right about Half-Life 3? Crazy.
Would be a funny guess. Would be a funny guess.
You know how people just they like reference their own tweets from like a long time ago whenever something happens? They'll like pull up an old tweet from like 2020 and be like, "See, I was right."
Yeah.
I feel like you could make a career out of just posting a bunch of random predictions regularly and then wait for one of them to come true and then act like you're really smart and then delete all the other ones.
Yeah.
I feel like that
you could eventually probably spread out the good and the bad side like far enough apart in advance and be like, well, this is going to happen. Well, this isn't going to happen. And then just pick the one and delete the other.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Good times.
Yeah. I played a little bit of Destiny, but I don't have much incentive to grind Tomb of Elders right now. I crafted enough tonics to get the field work done, which is... I gotta ask about that. Did you do the field work for Act 1?
I did. Pretty stupid.
What?
It's just random chores, right? Star chores.
It feels like more of the epitome of Star chores than a lot of things we've done in a while. And I don't know why, but that feels so much like go into the corner and organize the closet. Here, refill this thing in the restaurant. It feels truly Star chory. And then you get to the major field work, and it's like, walk to the table and shoot 15 guys in 2 minutes, and they're right here in front of you. I'm like, okay, fire a rocket or use my machine. Like, they're not hard at all. I feel like zero effort was put into these, and I am sorry to bash on the process of making these, but I'm like, when I play these, I'm going,
look,
what am I doing? Why are these a thing?
Developers know what they're doing, right? I've never run into a developer that's gotten criticism and been like, "What? I didn't see that coming at all."
Yeah.
Usually, we're like, "Yeah, you got me." we
like,
kind of messed that up.
These feel lazier than normal, and I hate to say that word specifically because I know game dev isn't lazy, but these are a little bit more of the official filler than usual. And I don't know, it's like even last season, just like still running around, or last episode was, running around in the echoes and doing stuff. This feels just like go shoot a couple guys, pick up a rock on the ground. You want to know the best one? One of the ones this act is go get 5 rounds of Altars of Sorrow on the moon.
Oh God.
I will tell everybody how to do this right now. Go to altars, like if you see anybody just doing it, find an instance where it started, shoot an enemy, and then just go stand right inside the cave of the Lost Sector, and then just don't AFK, and you'll be done. Like, I never do that anymore. I just sit there and, like, mess around, like, watch an episode of Netflix, move my mouse a little bit, and then the next thing you know,
why don't you just... Dude, you're the worst. Why do you do that?
Because I don't want to do the activity. I've done it for
everybody else
years.
has to do it. Why do you just get to... coast?
Because I've done enough.
No, dude. You know what? Teddy
I'm over here soloing challenges in the middle of
so
Prison of Elders.
It takes a village, you leech. God, you're such a parasite, dude. Honestly,
yes, one bounty, I'm a parasite.
Okay,
don't mind
well,
the fact
you know
when
what?
I'm running strikes and everything else.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
Okay.
Next thing you know, you're Teddy joining strikes and never leaving the spawn point and letting it 2-man strikes.
Okay,
that's what
thank you very much.
Because
I'm usually the one trying to carry my strike team. I thank you very much.
Because he is an immoral person. Teddy, come in the comments. I want to fight you right now. God, I miss you. Teddy invited himself to my honeymoon.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Yeah, he found out I was going to be in Japan, and he was like, I'm inviting myself to your honeymoon. And I was like, Teddy, you can't. I'm trying to get it in. And he was like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm coming.
Trying to get it in? You haven't figured it out yet?
No, I have. She kept saying she was waiting until marriage, and now she's saying she's waiting until it feels right. So I don't know. It just hasn't happened yet. She has a headache. She's had a headache for about 5 years. Yeah.
Too many jokes there.
Anyway.
No, okay. I will say, I have done enough in this game. I've also bounty prepped, and I have done Altars of Sorrow more than I care to ever do it. I have put my time into that activity. So at this point, if I mooch off of a couple other people knocking it out for me, I will, on that one activity, I will do it. I don't slack in Crucible and sit there at the spawn point. I actively play every strike that I'm in.
You're filth.
You're filth.
Scum Lord E. You know what? This is worse than if you became a mask off grifter streamer.
Oh yeah,
this is worse. Yeah, this is
mooching
worse.
off Altars of Sorrow players. This is where Travis draws
knowingly
the line. Altars of Sorrow.
You're a son of a bitch. You know that? Real son of a bitch.
I'm glad we finally found your line. It took a while. It took quite a while to find this line. But mooching Altars of Sorrow, that's it.
Yeah.
It's over.
There's some things I'll let slide, but Ayn Rand would call you, sir, a parasite. And look, she's a smart lady.
I mean, that's fair. I'll take the blame on this one thing.
Right. Cool. Appreciate you stepping up, taking responsibility. You will be charged a fine of $10,000 and no more than 8 months in prison.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Seems very reasonable.
I think so. Chat, sound off in the comments if you think people should have to go to prison for
mooching Altars of Sorrow. Specifically.
Altars of Sorrow.
Nothing else
or really
in the
just
game.
Really any activity in Destiny, but like Altars of Sorrow included. If they AFK and let you finish the activity for them, should they go to jail? And bonus question, how long should their sentence be? I think they should have to do community service because then they give back to the community that they ripped off. It kind of makes the community whole. I think that's a really good punishment. Prison, yes. Prison of Elders. If you think about it, we're all in the Prison of Elders because we're still playing Destiny.
Outsanity said they should work in Bungie Q&A for free. I was like, don't all the players do that right now?
We're all working
We're
at
all
Bungie
working
QA
at
for
Bungie
free.
QA for free. We do that every day.
Little do you know.
Yeah, every time you sit there and you're inactive, it takes away 1 Ascendant Shard. It just is like -1.
Honestly, as long as those materials go to the people that did it, I think that's fair.
I can handle it for enhancement prisms. If you do that for me, I'll give you my prisms. I can go earn those back.
Really?
They can have my
You're
prisms.
giving out prisms, huh?
Not
All right,
the
I'll take a
shard. I'm
prism.
not taking golf balls, but you can have my prisms. I got way too many of those.
Oh, I'll take your prisms for sure.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes,
It's not the first time I've taken Ebontis' prism.
I don't even know what that means. Have to do blueberry carries in the dungeons. Yeah. No. I make these crazy dungeon guides so you guys don't need me to be there. That's the whole point. I show you every step. I'm there for it all.
Then you don't get the completion, bro. That's the way it works.
Yes,
Mooch.
I have a confession. I'm an Altars of Sorrow mooch.
Yeah.
It's official. I'm
gonna approve.
I'm coming clean.
I'm gonna approve Scott's comment. I think it's important. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Have you played Dragon Age?
I have.
I am 2 quests, I think, away from the point of no return. I've looked up a list just to see where I was. I'm close. I'm like 50 hours
way
in.
further than me.
Oh,
Way
I'm like
further than
50
me.
hours in.
I'm like 10, 15 hours in, maybe.
I've been trying to get a blast through that one.
I'm hanging out with some crows of Antiva.
Yep. What is it? Lucanus.
Yeah. Luke Anus.
Thank you for that. Now, in my opinion on that game, there's one character that feels forced to a point, but like overall, I'm having a decent time with the characters. I don't know where you're at on it, but my buddy and I are like, yeah, there's one that feels a little
forced in,
shoehorned.
Yeah.
But like honestly, the rest of them, especially like because I'll just say like Nev, for example, she was who I was romancing, but even before like the romance part, just like learning about her and like Balara's backstory, specifically those two, I was like, there's real moments in there, and I was like, this game got a lot of crap.
I want to romance the nerdy elf. She reminds me of my real life wife. Yeah, she's good.
Does she actually? Yeah, I could see her.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
she's got that same vibe. Very bright and hopeful and smart, but also kind of a goofy dum-dum.
Yeah,
love her.
Little naive, little
naive. Maybe falls for somebody who reminds her vaguely of her father. You never know. What do you think?
Sounds spot on for you.
Hell yeah, dude. You got daddy issues? Come on over.
No, I went with Nev. She's, kind of had to go for the...
You're so generic, bro. I bet you romanced Miranda in Mass Effect 2.
I'm trying to... No, I went for Liara, I think.
You can't in Mass Effect 2. You're thinking of Mass Effect 1. Liara is not a companion in Mass Effect 2.
Oh, well, then I'm trying to think. Where was the... It's been a while since I played those. No, the...
Bald lady.
No, it was the DLC. I feel like it was a DLC thing where you go like
Shadow
that
broker.
Was that Liara?
Yeah. That's Liara. You get to
that I did.
Her, and if you romanced her in 1, then you can like set up a romance in 3. She can't become your romance partner in 2.
Then apparently it teased it there or something. So yeah,
it teases it.
That's what I did.
You set up so you did Liara in 1 and 3, Miranda in 2.
I never played 3. I never got to 3, sadly.
Sir, you are the most generic Commander Shepard of all time.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah. You got to go gay in at least one game, okay?
If you were going to do it in Dragon Age, if you were going to do it in this Dragon Age, have you met everybody yet or not yet?
No, I have not met everybody yet, so I don't know who to go gay for.
I don't think who I would in this one.
I hear one of the characters is a real demon in the sack. Because he's got a demon inside of him.
I was like, so to speak, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Like that character, Lucanus, sounds.
Does that count as a threesome?
2.5 some maybe. I don't know.
2.5 some.
2.5 some.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you've got a +1 on the invitation, but you're not sure if they're coming. No pun intended, by the way.
No pun intended. You got to get that ectoplasm. Where do you want me to put that ectoplasm, bro? Where are you gonna?
Hey everybody, how's last word after dog? Where is Cognito when we need him for this one?
Look, it's been a while since I've been on this show, and I'm letting it out. I'm letting my belt.
He's got a really tight ship. When he is on Unlocked, they run a clean show there. So here the guardrails come down, and
this is who I am. Just know that I'm being fake back then.
That's fair. You know? That I figured
this
as
is
much.
This is my real personality. So sorry. Not sorry.
Not sorry. No, it's just funny.
Gotta keep it clean for the kids.
Yeah.
Podcasts Unlocked is 90% minors. Most of them under 8 years of age.
Yeah.
That's not true at all.
You've so lost me. I'm just like, I can't right now.
I just love your reaction. All right, well, there we go.
But no, I'm enjoying my time. Overall, I think just like what I've played, I haven't finished it yet, but like as an overall game, I think I would probably end up giving it about an 8. I'm not done yet, but I think that's where I'd probably put it. I could see you going probably 7 to 8.
I probably, based on what I've played so far, I would say 7, but everybody tells me the end of the game is one of the best endings to any game ever.
That's what I keep wanting to get to. I hear like the last 4 hours are just like...
So, if that's true, my mind could be changed, but based on what I played, the combat seems okay. The writing is a little corny. The characters I don't know well enough, but I love Bollara. She's great.
Bollara, yeah, everybody wants to protect Bollara. That's one thing I saw on Twitter.
She needs to be protected. She's the best. That's it. I mean, I wasn't blown away by it, and I have not organically come back to it after playing like those first 15 hours.
Yeah.
Granted, I have other stuff I'm like playing, like I'm trying to get through Miles Edgeworth still. I've been Miles Edgeworth.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, you silly boy. Miles Edgeworth Investigations is a
is it Ace Attorney?
Ace Attorney game, yeah, where you play as the prosecutor this time. So little twist in the formula. It's very good. So I've been getting through that, and then D and I don't know if I told you this, but D and I, when we first met, I found out she had never seen Star Wars, and I was like, well, we have to watch it, and she said no. Maybe when we get
just
married.
Like, no.
So when we got married, we started watching Star Wars. We've been spending a lot of time watching Star Wars. There's a lot of Star Wars to watch.
I was going to say, are you going to include all of the shows in this now?
Yes.
Okay.
We have included all the shows, and we are in chronological order all the way up to the second season of Mandalorian, which
that's what I was going to ask. Does it go prequels?
So we watched original trilogy, and then we have since then gone back and watched it chronologically, including the Acolyte. So she went straight from the original trilogy to Acolyte, which makes no sense. And then she watched the prequel trilogy, and then we went back for the Clone Wars, and then after the Clone Wars would be Bad Batch, and then after Bad Batch is like all of the Imperial era movies and shows, Solo, Kenobi, all seasons of Rebels. Yeah, there's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
Like if I had to guess, I would say it's in the hundreds of hours.
Well, there's no more.
We finished Andor, Rogue One, like we've done all of that
so
stuff.
Good.
Oh God, dude. God,
Andor
it's
was
good.
Excellent.
Straight into my veins.
I will say episode
Andor
6, I think, of Andor, if I remember right. If not the Escape.
No, that's episode 7, One Way Out.
That might be that. You know what I'm talking about, though. Like the
not that I remember every single episode by memory, but yes, that is episode 7, entitled One Way Out, the best season of any Star Wars show.
That one, Stellan Skarsgård's like just 2.5 minutes.
Wait a second. Wait, no, I think it's episode 9. I think it's episode 9. No, it's later in the series because he gets out of prison and then there's only 2 episodes left after that.
It was before prison. No, the one I'm thinking about, when they leave the planet and they take the
the heist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the heist episode. That would be episode 5 or 6, something like that. That's a good episode.
Yeah,
the heist episode is really good. Everybody loves a good heist, don't they?
That one's cool. Stellan Skarsgård's character is awesome in that. Of course, he's a hell of a
his name's Luthen, sir.
Luthen, okay.
Come on. Know the names of the characters in Andor, like me.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, Dee is really liking Star Wars, which is a change for her because she does not normally connect with science fiction very much, which I have
Okay.
told her time and time again, this is not science fiction, it's a space opera. But I think she likes space operas more because the only space-based thing that she has liked before Star Wars was Mass Effect, which I also introduced her to, and she was hooked. So
Sounds
I told
spot
her,
on.
hey, Mass Effect is partially inspired by Star Wars, so
Makes
go play
sense.
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing with my time. Watching
Yeah.
a lot of Star Wars and catching up on some games, and yeah, I got a good review coming up soon. Path of Exile is going to take a ton of my time.
Yeah, I want to jump into that as well. And then I'm hoping I can get
I
indie.
didn't get
I
to
hope I
play.
get to play indie before launch because, like, if I
Yeah,
can knock that out before Path of Exile, it'll be great.
I think you're running out of time.
Yeah, I
Are
know.
the reviews not out already?
I
Or the
know
review
nothing.
codes,
I
I
know
mean?
nothing yet,
Okay.
but I'm guessing it's
Yeah,
got to be
I'm
soon.
really excited for that game. That game's gonna be cool.
I
Game's gonna
think
be
it'll
cool.
be. I told you guys I was like a little skeptical with things. Got my hands on it. I think it's probably all going to come together, and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. I think a lot like
Yeah,
the story, the atmosphere, um, the voice work, all is going to be there. I am curious when I spend time with the melee combat system, where I land on rating that because I didn't feel like I had enough time. Because then it's like trying to combo the whip in there, the melee. Once that starts meshing, I think it's got a lot of potential. I just didn't get as much time with that as I wanted. But
yeah.
overall, like the
The
world, the detail in there, dude, they did the third research on like making something look like the 1930s. I'm like, nailed it.
everyone I know went in skeptical and came out very excited for it. So
Yep, sounds
not a
just about
game of the
right.
year nominee though. Never will
No,
be. Good times.
that
We'll all forget
that
that it
would be an
existed.
action adventure game though. That would not be an action
Oh, for
game.
sure.
Yeah,
What's the difference between
somewhat
action
stealthy.
game and action adventure game?
I can tell you the games I would put in the categories. It's a little harder to define though, right? Like
Yeah.
Uncharted, obviously like indie. I'm trying to think because I don't have a ton of examples because it depends on the year of what examples would be. I guess a game that is more based around the journey you go on would be something I like. The importance of the journey and the story that ties into the journey that has action in it would be more of that adventure. Something where the major focus is the combat and the fighting and the moment to moment gameplay is where I would probably put the action. That would be a vague definition with off the hip, but kind of where I would put it. Because obviously, like,
Interesting.
Sekiro or fighting game or not a fighting game, but just like an action game where the focus of the game, like I played the closed test or whatever for the first Berserker Kazan. That's an action game. I don't know what the story is. I know there's going to be a story there, but the focus of that game is purely like it is the combat. The focus is
Yeah.
not the combat in indie. It is the journey through the levels, solving the puzzles, the journey you go on with the character from A to B, like A to
That
Z.
is also my definition of an action adventure game is
Okay,
that it
well, hey,
has to have split focus
fist
on
bump.
combat and some other sort of thing that is biding your time, which is usually like combat or puzzles or something.
Puzzle, yeah.
Yeah, like
And a good
DMC, not an action adventure game.
no.
That's a game where you fly through the air with a chainsaw sword. That is an action game.
That does sound like an action game a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Do shooters count as an action game? Because there is no first-person shooter or third-person shooter category.
See, and that's one where I feel like when you see Call of Duty, is Call of Duty in the action category this year? Is that where
I
it
think it is,
falls?
yeah.
See, that's weird to me. Like, it is action, because I actually played oh, that's another thing I did. I played the Call of Duty 6 campaign. Actually
Oh,
played
nice. I
through and
have
beat the
not
whole
gotten
thing.
to it yet.
I will say, I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign in a while, but I had a good time. I did. I will give that also an 8 out of 10, because having not played a Call of Duty campaign in a while and hearing a mixed bag about a whole lot of stuff over the years, just jumping in and playing this one, I was like, this is pretty legit. Because there was like very
Is it
different
too legit to
pacing.
quit?
It is too legit to put down. Yes, I had to just blast
Nice.
it. Yeah. But they paced the levels in a different way where it kept things fresh enough where it wasn't just like go through here and shoot these guys in a line and go from point A to point B every time. The mix of missions were well done and I think well timed that I had a good time. I was actually pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed that. It was trying to think, probably close to about 9-10 hours, but like there was one mission that's a bit more open. I did every single objective on that map screen. So yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing too. I've been trying to mix in other games. I've been trying
Love it.
to
Other
catch up.
games will set you free.
Oh,
Destiny
so
is
much.
often mid.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the time where Destiny does have its struggles to see where it's going to hold people's attention, how long it's going to be. I mean, we have a long ways until we get to June, we think, for what? Apollo, whatever that's called. And I think right now, just people are busy doing other stuff a lot of the time. Yeah, we're back down to the, average 30-ish thousand players. And that's like where it seems to kind of bottom out, is that like upper 20s, lower 30s all the time. But I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 still has 60,000 people playing it, which is just ridiculous. I'm so happy that Baldur's Gate 3. I'm so happy that game has had the success it is, because, they're independent and they've had so many patches and added like
they're an indie studio.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know if I'll jump into Stalker. I hear the day one patch helped quite a bit. I'm kind of curious about it because I've got Game Pass, so it might be one of those that I'm just like, see what happens. But if I get a chance to play something else early, then maybe not. So we'll see. But yeah, go see Wild Robot if you can, or if it comes to streaming and you see it come across your TV, it's worth a watch. But for now, yeah, I think that kind of catches us up on things. We'll try to lasso Cognito and get him back into his chair at some point. Yeah, he's busy.
I'll send a search party out for him. Find out if he's still kicking.
He's out there. He's out there in the world. He's just, incognito at the moment.
That's right. That's what he does best.
That is...
Maybe he's so good at being a ninja that he's actually me right now. Maybe he's just wearing a mask. Have I said anything cog-like this episode to make you believe that maybe I'm not the real Travis?
He's just off camera pointing a gun at you, just making you say certain things.
He's sitting in this chair wearing a mask.
I don't know if you can pull that off.
I think it's
proportionally you guys are a little bit different. I've met you both, so that's
all just to scale though. I'm actually just sitting way farther away from this mic to make it look like I'm it's all optical illusion, dude. Come on, man. You don't have the eye of a magician.
Probably
it's an illusion, Michael.
It's an illusion. Well, thank you, John, with the listen. But John's like, I quit playing Destiny a year and a half ago and listening to this regularly. Nothing that's been said is making him want to play again.
That's fair. Yeah, you don't have to play again. Although, if you hopped in now, you could play the fantastic Final Shape campaign.
I was like, Final Shape campaign is what I would say, everybody. If you have a history in Destiny, you should play that campaign. Maybe you wait for it to be on sale, but still, that's what I would say.
Play that campaign, and then stop playing again. That's what I would do. If I had any choice in it, I would play Destiny as casually as possible and just have a very positive relationship with it, because the more into Destiny you get, the less you enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's definitely some content creators that I kind of follow and watch, and I played Destiny Rising for a hot second.
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about that. I did not get into the beta. I signed up as soon as that thing went up. I never got a code.
Access through kind of an agency thing to give it a shot. So I've got it.
Nice. Looks cool. I would play that. Sometimes you need a phone game.
I was mirroring it on my monitor, so it didn't look as good on the monitor. But my phone, like I have a 15 Pro Max, so last year's, but still a good phone. And I will be honest, like looking at that, I was like, this is what I picture. And granted, it's like iPhone size, but like this is what I picture playing on my PS4 was like. And I was like, and it's in my damn pocket. I was like, now granted, it felt a little like I was playing with an Xbox controller, and I suck with controller, but it was like, it looked pretty damn good. The world's actually pretty good size. There's a lot of classes and stuff. It's going to be a gacha game, but overall, I am actually impressed. Yeah, I'm impressed with what's in there. I don't think it's anything I'll sink a lot of time into because I don't do the whole gacha thing, but if that's your jam, I think they're going to probably get quite a few people in there. It'll be one to watch.
I like gacha games. They're fun.
Yeah, when you do get a chance. No, I never did.
I don't like the Hoyo games. Oh, dude, they're good.
I didn't have enough time to go sink into all that, but also didn't want to go down the rabbit hole of.
You don't have to spend money.
Yeah.
I just spent a dime on Genshin Impact, but if you play it long enough, you can get all the stuff. It's just you'll have to watch other people who value their money less.
Yeah.
Being way ahead of you.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't really matter if it's a solo game. A lot of them are. Genshin is mostly a solo game.
I mean, it's something like Destiny Rising. If you don't do PvP, you'll just have somebody who looks like they're glowing like a god in your strike team, probably carrying you through. But
yeah,
if they're helping you out, so cool. So I'll be curious to watch that one. I will just say, like, looking at the photos, like, pretty damn good. Well, thanks for sharing this afternoon with me, sir. Hopefully you have a good afternoon and rest of the day.
Fun as always.
Thank you, chat, for being here today. You guys have been good. We will get Cognito back in here soon, but I think we will
maybe
80%. Oh, I've been pretty disappointed with Dragon Age. It's 80%. I'm having a good time with Dragon Age, so but I'm kind of enjoying.
I don't have a problem with 80% cutscenes, but I do have a problem with some of the cheesy last action line movie writing. That gets me a little bit.
It has those moments, yeah. I don't know. I just kind of looking for an adventure like that. I think I'm probably just being a little nice to it, but that's just kind of in the mood I'm in when I'm playing it. I'm here just to see where it goes.
That's fine, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all. And I think for this episode number 313, what is that, anagram or whatever? Same
anagram.
Yep, backwards and forwards. Yeah. So we got one of those going through. We'll have one for a little while with the threes, but thank you guys. Have a good one, and we'll get Cognito back in here to round out the trio soon. But for now, it's just Titan and Hunter signing off for this episode. It has been
the last word.
The last word.